right, good morning, everyone. Welcome. Oops, let me get these out of the way so I don't knock them. Sorry about that. Good morning. Welcome to the third annual Advanced Therapies Investor Day. My name is Morrie Ruffin. I'm the Managing Director of the Alliance for Regenerative Medicine. And for those of you not as familiar with the Alliance as some of you who've been working with us over the past few years, the Alliance, or ARM as we call it, is a global multi-stakeholder organization that promotes innovation, growth, and delivery of transformative treatments and cures for patients suffering from chronic illnesses, debilitating diseases, and a number of other unmet medical needs. Our aim as an organization is to connect all parts of the innovation life cycle. So this is something that's very important to the mission of our organization. And through this, we address, as I said, the needs of the patients, particularly through thinking about the clinical challenges and the commercial challenges of the sector. So we're really spending a lot of our time and a lot of our efforts as an organization trying to think through the challenges of how we get these important products to the patient. So I want to begin by recognizing some of the key partners that we're working with in the organization and those that have really helped us pull this important meeting together. And I want to begin by recognizing GE Healthcare and Kieran Murphy. Kieran will be talking to you just in a few minutes. They've really been an incredible partner of ours over the last few years. It was really, I think, Kieran's inspiration that we were able to host this meeting here in Europe. I think he attended one of our early events in New York and saw the potential to do this in Europe. And I think this offers really a unique opportunity to bring together key stakeholders in the sector and really tell the story of what we're trying to do in the field of regenerative medicine and advanced therapies. So we're delighted to have them here today and to be working with them on this important event. I also want to recognize the UK Cell Therapy Catapult and Keith Thompson, who will also be speaking to you shortly. Keith has been a partner of ours really from the inception of their organization. They work with us on a number of different activities in Europe and really across the board in supporting ARM's advocacy efforts. And then finally, I want to acknowledge also the BIA for their participation in this event and their leadership in the ATMP sector in the UK and really in Europe as well. And so we know that they play a leading role in supporting efforts to advocate for ATMP products, and I think Stephen is going to preview a report I think they're releasing today here when he provides his remarks, which will be right after me. But before I hand the microphone over to him, I want to just highlight a few things, actually data that we as an organization have been collecting on the performance of the sector, really to set the stage for what we're going to be talking about today. Here we go. And so these are numbers that we've compiled through the first 3 quarters of the year. We have a partnership with another UK-based institution, Informa, and with them we are working together really to develop a series of metrics so that we can track the performance of the sector. So just to begin with, one of the things that we keep track of is the number of companies in the sector. And most people really don't have an appreciation for the global scope of what we're doing. One of the things we did when we first started working with Informa was really to do an inventory of everybody who's working in the sector. And through that effort, we came up with what we're calling really our kind of baseline numbers for the advanced therapies and regenerative medicine sectors. So we count about 580 companies globally, active companies developing products or platform technologies in the sector. And these numbers are, in fact, increasing. Another metric we look at is the pipeline. So what's happening clinically? This is obviously something that investors are interested in, and really what the general public is interested in as well. They want to understand the progress that we're making. And I think it's important to note here the number of products in late-stage clinical development. So I think we're going to see over the next 2 or 3 years a number of very, very important data events in oncology and a number of other indications that are going to hopefully demonstrate the real potential of these therapies. And I'm going to just show you a few slides on how we're doing financially in the sector. So in the third quarter, we continued to see robust activity in financings. I think most of you are aware that we've had a little bit of a dip in the market as of late, but the year itself has really been actually the best year to date for the sector. I mean, we've done phenomenally well in terms of raising money and also in terms of partnerships, and I'll mention that in a second. But as you can see, $9.3 billion year to date in the third quarter, and that number continues to increase. In terms of the total financings, this includes IPOs, follow-on financing, and also corporate partnerships. And you'll see on this slide how well we're doing this year to date compared to last year. And last year was a very good year for the sector. So you can note a couple of these in terms of the IPO market, obviously, and the follow-ons. A tremendous amount of activity in corporate partnerships, especially in upfront payments and the values of these deals, which are really driving a lot of interest in the sector, and I think show the significance of what we're doing as we're attracting the interest of a number of the larger firms. And this is just a list of some of the deals year to date this year. What's significant about all of these is they included upfront payments of about $100 million U.S., and that's quite significant. Obviously, the overall value of the deal is significantly larger than that. And then these are some of the others, and a number of these companies will be presenting with us here today and taking part in the program. And I just wanted to end, before I hand it over to Steve, with a quick review of what we are also doing here in Europe. So last year, and in the beginning of this year, ARM completed its merger with the Alliance for Advanced Therapies, so that we are now an organization, really, truly a global organization, operating in the U.S. and Europe. And we did this because we felt it was important for the sector really to have a unified voice both in the U.S. and Europe. And through this and through the collective work, because a number of our companies are working both in the U.S. and Europe, we felt this would be helpful in terms of increasing awareness of the work that we're doing really across the board. And also to help us focus on international harmonization of regulatory policies and strategies. This is something we're working on, with Catapult and BIA and a number of other organizations, and I think Steve will be talking about that in a second. And then finally, it's also to promote what we're actually doing here today. It's to help the sector tell its story to the investor community and to talk about some of the great progress we're making with our companies and really to help them understand what the expectation should be for this sector over the next 3 to 5 years. So with that, I'm going to finish here, and then I'm going to hand the stage over to Steve, who's going to welcome you and update you on some of their activities. So, Steve?